Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about the coastal community issues found in Hawaii, but also to narrow this down more, I'm specifically going to be talking about ecotourism. And the definition for this one, just found on the web, straight up for anybody to see without any interpretation, is responsibility to travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves the interpretation and education. And from this, I walked away with the definition of I think that it is the natural world colliding with the land communities, working together to have a positive impact on the environment and the education of the people surrounding it. So the main part of this that I want to emphasize is the education of the people on the land and why they are there at this beautiful community that they wanted to come visit just because of the looks, but that's just not the basis of the ecology issues. And the main effort of bringing awareness to the surrounding community is to protect the beautiful natural environment and land that the Hawaiians have created and protected for this long. It's such a delicate ecosystem that can be torn down so easily that I think we all kind of forget about this while looking at the beautiful aspects Hawaii has to offer. The first time that I experienced this on Oahu was actually at Hanauma Bay. I was there visiting my first time on the island on East Side, and before being allowed to go down into the beautiful cove, is that you had to sit down and watch a 10-minute video, an informational course that told you about all of the species that are found there, history on the land, what to expect once you get down there, and how to protect their reefs, because this is the main focal point of bringing the tourists there, is the beautiful reefs, the beautiful views, and the water. And the reason for this video is to educate the tourist about how delicate the ecosystem is surrounding our oceans, and that it's the experience being able to see the ocean communities in movement and being able to have the opportunity of looking at this. Ecotourism is used as an effort program to bring the wildlife conservation and the communities together, bind them, try to make the efforts to combine two things that normally wouldn't naturally be together unless the humans obviously come in and interact with the ocean community, which is happening a lot now because we need to intervene with all the bad things that we've done to it. And this effort can help build the physical, social, and behavioral issues between the communities and the coastal communities as well. This is an effort to bring awareness and respect to the land and what has been built there and what the Hawaiians are protecting. The effort is to bring cultural awareness and respect to the land of what has been protected by the going generations on and on over the years, and how they've kept this community so beautiful and kept so many of its native creatures alive. I am actually in another class, and it is talking about the ecology, the wildlife ecology found on Oahu, and we are making efforts to create plans on making things not go extinct. And this is part of the ecotourism, what people come to see. You never see these animals anywhere else, and nor if they go extinct will you see them again. So that is why when tourism comes in, it brings money to the community, and that is put straight back into keeping the environment beautiful, keeping people coming and what they love to see. The funds from ecotourism can be put towards the conservation efforts on the land. I know that there are many projects going on with the native wildlife alone, and that in another class I am studying is seeing the opposing effects that tourism has on the wildlife and decreasing its population, how the intervention of humans isn't always necessary to keep a species alive, but it also is very necessary for some because they are declining so fast. It's not a huge problem that it should halt tourism completely, but it needs to be looked at with a serious outlook, knowing that this could develop from an educated tourist abusing the land, abusing their powers of being able to see this beautiful, beautiful land. Whenever traveling now after moving to Hawaii, I think it's so important to educate myself on the origin of where I'm going to be going, what their community normal behaviors are, and what to expect with their environment. What should I not be going to? Should I not be going on these illegal hikes because they are trying to preserve the land for future generations. I think right now that this is super prevalent with the hiking community in Hawaii right now, and the tourists wanting to go on all of these amazing hikes to get the views, to see everything at once, to possibly get the fullest experience they can while traveling that far. And I think that this is wonderful. But for example, the Stairway to Heaven hike, there are so many tourists that want to go on this hike because it's beautiful and nobody really goes on it. It's so unknown for somebody to have done it. But it's being shut down because the land is being destroyed. It's causing unnatural things to happen, and they want to preserve this for future generations to be able to see the wonderful things that this created naturally. So it's not that the governments are being mean or trying to discourage tourism. They just want to make sure that their land is being preserved at the same time of keeping the economy going with all the tourists coming. So, a very recent article that I found that relates to ecotourism is the Princeton graduate students. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the U Experience. This is basically a program where students sign up from the mainland, and since everything is online, they will take their courses from a bubble in Waikiki. These Princeton graduate students rented out 2 huge hotels to have these students come stay, pay to live there, and have the luxury of being on a beach studying. The mayor hasn't approved this yet because there is quite the local upset at this proposal. And it's basically marketing kids to come and live in paradise for a little bit. That's the only draw, and that's the educational experience that they're coming in with, the mindset that they're coming in with. We need to get the full experience of the island before we leave because we're studying here. And I completely understand where these graduate students are coming from, of wanting to give these students the ideal experience, and it's a very, very good idea, but for the people who live there, it is not such a wonderful idea. These students are going to be coming in not understanding the delicate ecosystem that surrounds Hawaii and the islands. Especially with the COVID issue happening so recently, the economy has already been torn down. This is going to boost it a little bit, but is it worth putting these multi-generational homes at risk? And also the destruction of the land that they have preserved for so long. Is it worth having these students come for the financial side of things in risk of the beautiful land that they have kept? So the discussion question that I proposed to you guys after explaining what ecotourism is and everything is based on the current event. Do you think that this is a good idea? Do you think that this will boost the economy? Is it worth putting everything at risk for this to happen? And would you do it? Would you join in on this experience not having knowledge of the upset that it is causing in the community?